I believe I was born to speak. I came out of my mother giving instructions. I'm sure I told the doctor, slap me on the left, doc, not the right. I'm sure I was inspiring people from day one. In high school, I was a captain of the track team. I was the head of the cheerleading squad. I was editor of yearbook. I was in student council. I was always running my mouth, giving instructions and inspiring people. But I wasn't born to be a CEO. That part was hard. I get why most businesses go out of business. Not because of the talent, but because of the business infrastructure. But then throughout my career, I learned that as a speaker, it was a bigger responsibility than just standing on this stage. What was speaking to make a difference? What does it mean to do that? And how can I be responsible for that charge? So for any of you who are in any business, you are in the business of speaking. If you have to deal with people in your life, you are in the business of speaking. If you have children, if you have partners, if you have family, you are in the business of speaking. And so I want to take some time to do something I've done very rarely, and that's to talk about the context of speaking and how do you use that art to not only enhance your life, but to enhance your business. How do you do that? And the reason why I'm doing it these days is because last year, right here at A-Fest, and some of you heard the story on my bonus day, a gentleman by the name of Nichols from Russia came to me in my room. We had our private little session in the room that I do at times. And after everyone kind of was leaving, he's just sat there and he was just giving me this blank stare. And I was like, dude, it's over. So it was awkward. And I finally looked at him and said, can I help you? I want you to teach me how to tell stories. I was like, tell stories? That's not on the menu of what I offer. I don't care. I was like, but really, I don't tell people to teach me how to tell stories. That's what I want from you. I said, I can teach you how to grow your business. I don't need that. I am the top speaker in Russia. I want to tell stories. I want to move people the way you move people. I sat on the front row at Jack Camp. I do horrible accents, so that is Russian. And if I told you a story from Taipei, that would be my Chinese. If I told you a story from the Caribbean, that would be my Caribbean. Get over it. That's me. That's it. And he says, I was at Jack Canfield's event. I sat on the front row. And from the moment you open your mouth, you captivated me. I know how to make money, but I don't captivate people like that. I want that. I said, I'm kind of stuck. I'm slow. Dude, it's not on my menu. I don't care. So I go in the other room with Allison. I was like, Allison, this guy's out here asking for something that I don't even know what he wants. She goes, what? He wants me to tell stories. Well, tell him some stories. So I go back out. I goes, how do you want this delivered to you? Your customer, by the way, will tell you what they need. Hello? I told my bonus day folk, you are not the expert of your industry. Your customer is the expert. You're the service provider. Yeah, you might want to write that down. You thought you were the expert. So if my expert's telling me, I need you to spend a day with me. I was like, a whole day? A whole day. So we call that a VIP day. We do VIP days in my company where we spend 6-7 hours with a client and we go over every aspect of their business. I said, oh, in 7 hours, we can videotape it and go over everything. No, just stories. I said, you want me to tell you stories for 7 hours? Yes, I do. I was like, how many of these days do you want? I want 2. You want them back to back? No, I go away. I do it, I go, I apply it, I come back, you give me another. Okay. So out of that, he comes, he flies from Russia, he comes over, and all day long, he tells a story, and then I tell him back his same story, but I add layers and I add color. He tells a story, I show the story. He tells a story, I show the story. There's a distinct difference, and I'm going to go through that with you guys. Would you guys like me to do that for you guys today? And for the very first time publicly, I'm going to unwrap what I do. Because you think, ooh, it's magic. And then you drink the Lisa Kool-Aid. Right? Well, while a lot of it's talent, there's some key and distinctive techniques that you can learn. Now, I'm teaching you just a smidget of what we're doing for 3 days in my upcoming 3-day training, and then what I do for a year with my global leaders. But I want to give you a smidget of that right now. And so he comes over and he tells a story a story about his father, and then I tell him back the story about his father, and he's bawling. And his wife is crying, and my assistant's crying, and I'm crying while I'm telling his story. And he goes, how did you do that? I said, you told the story. I showed the story. There's a distinct difference, and it translates everything you do in your life. Everywhere you can apply this. How did I learn this technique? My first 2 books were Chicken Soup for the Soul books. And Chicken Soup for the Soul, they have a criteria. If it doesn't make you laugh, cry, or give you goosebumps, it ain't getting in the book. Do you know how many stories you have to read to get to that level of story? If it doesn't rank 9 out of 10, they will throw the story out. I read 5,332 stories to find 279 stories. So by the time I ended that journey, I was pretty good at a show me story on paper. Then I began to hone my skills to show the story verbally as well. So that's what we're going to do. Now I'm teaching speakers. How many people your business requires you to actively, in some form, be a speaker? Raise your hand. Keep your hands up high. Okay, this is your juice right now. Right now, this is the juice. Now, you've got many great nuggets throughout the week, but this thing right here, you know, I always said, I wish someone who had advanced far in the industry would take me behind their black curtain. You know what I mean? This is behind the black curtain with me for a moment. My son, when he was 2 years old, he could break a toy in 14 days. And so I would only spend $14 on every toy. 14 days, $14. Sound good to me. I was in KB Toys. Anyone familiar with KB Toys? I was in KB Toys, and I'm in the toy area, and I'm looking at the $14 toys. My son breaks it in 14 days, $14 is the budget. And as I'm looking at the toy, $14 toy, the spirit just said, go down the aisle, slide down the aisle. And I said, okay. I slid down the aisle. And in front of me was Mattel Toys, Tonka toy, $44.99. I said, oh, God, you got the wrong girl. My budget is $14.99. I went back to the $14.99 toy. I grabbed it, walked over to the sales counter, paid for it, went to walk out the door at the Crenshaw Mall. And as my foot crossed the threshold, God said, I said. Has anyone ever heard instructions and then went against the instructions and then God, raise your hands up high, not shy. I want to make sure I'm in the right room. Okay. Right. So I'm at the center on the threshold arguing with God. God, I ain't got that kind of money. Do you know what kind of budget I'm on? I'm just looking real crazy because I argue out loud with God. God said, I said, go back and get the other toy. So I walked back in with an attitude. Have you ever followed God mad? Whatever, I'm going to do it, but I'm going to show you. I exchanged it. I go get the $44.99 toy. I'm like, now we really got to eat beanies and weenies for the next 2 weeks. More beanies than weenies. I buy it. I go home. First thing I say to Jelani is, be careful. This toy cost him, before I can get it out of my mouth, he picked it up and dropped it. Picked it up again and dropped it. Because he did that with every toy. Picked it up and dropped it. He did it with every toy until it ended up in the toy cemetery. Picked it up, dropped it. But every time he dropped it, the toy, because it was a Tonka truck. Guys, you guys know about the Tonka trucks? I didn't even know they existed. They're like apparently pretty amazing. Every time he dropped it, the Tonka truck would go, It just go. Not fast. It was never fast. Wasn't a speed car, but it would just go, He'd pick it up, drop it again. 3 days in, pick it up, drop it. 7 days in, pick it up, drop it. 10 days in, pick it up, drop it. 14 days, I'm like, Watch this. 14 days, picked it up, dropped it. 21 days, pick it up, drop it. 30 days, pick it up, drop it. 35 days, pick it up, drop it. On the 40th day, I picked it up. I was like, it just needs a higher height. I got this. I picked it up and I dropped it. And it went, 60 days, picked it up, dropped it. 80 days, picked it up, dropped it. 120 days, picked it up, dropped it. 6 months, picked it up, dropped it. I'm like, what is up with that toy? A year and a half later, it became my son's Linus blanket toy. I take him to child care. They try to take it. I said, I advise you to not touch that child's toy. They're inseparable. A year and a half, picked it up, drop it. Jaylani outgrows the toy. He doesn't want it anymore. He gives it to my nephew, Jamil, and he gives it to Jamil with explicit instructions on the application. So Jamil, age 2, first thing he does is what, you guys? Pick it up and drop it. And what does it do? 6 months, pick it up, drop it. What does it do? 8 months, pick it up, drop it. What does it do? 12 months, pick it up, drop it. 14 months, pick it up, drop it. 2 years with Jamil. And now it's kind of shaking. It's like, it got a little tweak on it, but it's still moving. It never sped up, but it didn't slow down. Jamil added another twist to it. Jamil took it outside to the front porch and would drop it up down the stairs and it go ba-boom, 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 ba-boom. Get to the bottom and go what? My son and Jamil both outgrew the toy. And my son decided, let's give it to Goodwill, Mommy. Okay, cool. We go to Goodwill. We're about to walk in. He goes, wait, Mom, one last time. He picks it up and what? Drops it. And what does it do going into Goodwill? And that was the last I saw of the toy. I was so surprised that toy outlasted my son. I was so surprised that with everything that my son put that toy through, it was still moving. But Mattel, they weren't. When Mattel built that toy, when they had that toy on the assembly line, they said this toy is going to meet Jaylani Nichols. And when it meets Jaylani Nichols, it's going to be picked up and dropped a few times. So we need to give this toy some extra girth. We need to give this toy some extra strength. We need to put this toy together extra solid. We need to make sure this toy does not break under pressure. Yes, yes? Now, whatever your faith is, I believe somebody came for this. This is the cherry on top of the cake you didn't know you were going to get before you left. I believe that when God put you together on that assembly line called creation, she said, she's going to go through something. He's going to be picked up and dropped a few times. She's going to be picked up and dropped a few times. He's going to experience betrayal. Let me give him some extra tenacity. She's going to experience hurt and abandonment. Let me give her some faith and forgiveness. He's going to experience a breakdown and some financial challenges. Let me give him some determination. She's going to experience a health issue or a family issue. Let me give her the spirit of resiliency. He says something's going to happen. Let me make sure that every time she's picked up, every time he's picked up and dropped, that she still goes, what? Now, you may not go fast, but you won't ever stop moving. So just like that Tonka truck, just like my son, so no matter how many times he picked it up and dropped it, no matter how many times it tumbled down those stairs, it always still moved. See, sometimes you question, can you keep going? You forget that you was built like the Tonka truck. You forget that you're that Tonka truck. You're that Tonka truck. So the next time something is going challenging, I want you to say this. It's Tonka time. Say it with me. It's Tonka. A little louder. Come on, y'all. It's Tonka. Turn to somebody on the side and say, it's Tonka time. It's Tonka time. How many guys in your life, you know that whether things are going great and they need to get better or whether you need to clean some stuff up in your life, it's Tonka time? Raise your hand. One hand up. Two hands if you know it's really you. 2 hands. And 2 hands and stand up if you're ready for Tonka time. Stand up. 2 hands and stand up if you're ready for Tonka time. I just want to check the pulse of the room. I want to make sure I'm in the right space. Okay, great. All right, great. Have a seat. So, in sharing that story, there's some things that I did. Number 1, I showed you my son picking it up and dropping it. I showed you walking across the threshold of the store. I showed you when I slid down the aisle and came back. I believe a lot of times as a speaker, we stay too contained. I don't know what we're protecting. Show me your story like I'm looking at a movie. We see in pictures. And I have to take your words and make them a picture. What if you made them a picture for me? Now I'm just with you. When you speak, there's a cadence and a rhythm to your voice that has to be able to have verbal highlights go up and go down. Show me what a point that's more important. Slow down and make me hold on for a minute and wait with you. Be okay with silence in the moment so that you can catch your breath. I can catch my breath, and the next thing that you hear, you're listening to every single word. Sometimes we think more words, the more we give is better. Sometimes I need you to let me breathe as your listener. When you speed up, only go 10 seconds and then slow me back down. And if you want to make a point and there's a rhythm, then show me the rhythm. Show me the rhythm. Show me the rhythm. Everything I did showed you the rhythm so you can see it. And then when you bring your point home, and it's important to hold on to the words, then you be still so that I'm not distracted by your movement, but I only get your words. Speaking is an art, and it's an art that many people can learn. But if you decide to open your mouth, then you better have something to say, because then you're just wasting our time. And you determine what you have to say based on what we, the people listening, need, not based on what you think is wise to say. Breathe. You guys holding your breath. Okay, Lisa. It's important to integrate humor. I think I'll put some slides together, Allison. I'll never think to click it. They're real simple. How do I know I'm a speaker? How many of you guys have ever asked the question, how do I know I'm a speaker? And raise your hands if that's you. How do I know I'm a speaker? Next question, what kind of speaker am I? How many of you guys would like to know what kind of speaker you are? What's the best thing? I'm going to give you some insight right now that most speakers don't even discuss and talk about. I believe that there are 4 types of speakers. You might want to write this down. Now, I'm going to run through a lot of this very fast, but we teach this in 2 formats for speakers, authors, and trainers, coaches, and consultants, and authors. We have an intensive year-long program. We go through it in more depth. I'll tell you about that later. And then for those of you who just want to polish your speaking skill and really jump into it, we have a 3-day intensive that we teach virtually and we teach live. And I'll teach more here. So I'm going to go fast, but no worries. If something sparked, you want more, I'll show you how you can get more and how we can really study together, and I can teach you and help guide your speaking career and your speaking impact. What kind of speaker you are. There are 4 types of speakers, I believe. There's an informational speaker. An informational speaker is designed, and they're in business just to give information. They do not care if you are inspired. That's that traffic school teacher. I don't care if you like me. I don't care if you get value. Do your 8 hours and keep it going. Keep it pushing. That's an informational speaker. Unfortunately, a lot of our teachers in school become informational speakers. That teacher that you remember is because they were an inspirational speaker. That teacher that you remember is because they were a motivational. They were still teaching you, but they inspired you as well. So informational speaker, just in the business to deliver information. The second level is a motivational speaker, someone who's, and now this is the area that everyone gets grouped in. Everyone calls me a motivational speaker, and that's okay. That's because they don't know all the different choices. Without it, you just dump everything into one big box. A motivational speaker, that's someone who gives you external motivation. It's very necessary. They get you on fire, you're charged, there's a lot of energy, you're going. Very, very necessary. They can jumpstart you. The long-term impact is a little less likely, but they can jumpstart you. If you plug into something else real fast, you can keep it going. If you don't, it's going to kind of fizzle out. How many of us have been motivated and it fizzled out? Right? Like, what happened? That workshop didn't work. No, it did. You went home on fire. That was the experience. That was what it was for. The third type of speaker is an inspirational speaker. An inspirational speaker is designed to go inside your soul and stir it up and cause you to want to be a better person. It's an inspirational speaker. They're designed to just go in and to move you and to inspire you and to create that possibility in you. Very necessary, very beautiful. For years, that was the limit of where I wanted to be. I want to be an inspirational speaker. And then I was introduced to a transformational speaker. A transformational speaker, be very clear, they will have you say the thing you don't want to say and do the thing you don't want to do so you can be the man or the woman you've always known yourself to be. The road less traveled. Now, to be a transformational speaker, you have to stay in transformation yourself. So most transformational speakers are really struggling with that because you have to constantly be willing to confront what you don't want to see about yourself in your genius. Does that make sense, you guys? I live to transform lives and businesses. I come out and speak just to find out who can I coach, whose life can I help transform, whose business, whose family, that's what I love to do. I speak in order to get to the coaching and the training. So a transformational speaker is someone who's committed to change. They're the person that's going to go down to the darkest places with you and walk you out so you're not alone. And that normally comes in the form of a coach. It's hard to do it in speaking because it takes more time. You can educate me fast, you can motivate me fast, you can inspire me fast, but you cannot Google download transformation. Sorry. Does that make sense, you guys? Yes, yes? Yes, yes? Yes, yes? Is this good information for you guys? We look at speakers all the time, and they're just kind of all glossy and shiny and beautiful. I thought I'm going to break it down for you based on what I know. I've never taught this before. I'm giving you guys a sneak peek into the training I'm teaching for the very first time in December because so many people like Nichols asked for it. Nichols came back to me after 2 sessions with me, and his speaking, he said if he had rated it, he thought he was a strong speaker before, but now he realized, he goes, I don't think I was a 3, and now I'm a 7.